Good afternoon. Sit. लिख लिया? नहीं? क्यों? Online people, please share your answers on this. तो बताओ, what should be the introduction? Anybody who is confident in their introductions?
Jainism both Anekantvad and Sarvada to article the same teachings of realistic and relativistic pluralism. Anekantvad is metaphysical argument, whereas Sarvada, that is Saptabhangi, is the epistemological argument.
Good, a good introduction. Jain school, Abhip Shah ने लिखा है, Jain school of philosophy is pluralistic, which propagates doctrine of manyness of reality. The metaphysical theory of Jains leads to its epistemological theory, that is Syadvad, that we can know only some aspects of reality which can be recognized through Saptabhangi ne, through Syadvad, expressed as Saptabhangi ne. Anything new in introduction? This is what we know. We have to write such introduction only. Not in so many words. We can concise it. Too much concision can be done, like Jainas are a realistic, relativistic, pluralistic school of philosophy which accepts manyness of reality, that is Anekantvad, which when we make it into statements means, क्या मतलब है उसका? relativistic हो गया ना? Relativity of statements, that is Syadvad, expressed as Saptabhangi ne. Not explained. It is the expression of Syadvad. So metaphysically you start with Anekantvad, and because there are so many realities, so complex reality, that is why you cannot say anything concretely. Therefore, you should always speak in the sense of relativity. Syadvad. And how can you speak relativity? By sevenfold statements or Saptabhangi ne. So this is metaphysics, this is epistemology, and this is linguistics. Language है सिर्फ. In simple terms. ठीक है? Introduction is done. Now tell me, what can we write? How can we start the answer? So first you will talk about Anekantvad. Anekantvad means there are infinite objects and each object has infinite attributes. Therefore, और वो आप वहां पे थोड़ा बहुत वो द्रव्य वाली बात भी लिख सकते हैं, गुण द्रव्य, हाँ गुण पर्याय लिखिए. अनेकांतवाद ना, you have to explain अनेकांतवाद. Proper question अनेकांतवाद पे है ये. Write about it then. Syadvad. सोल पे नहीं जाएंगे अभी. First you explain the अनेकांतवाद. अनेकांतवाद means, अच्छा ये आंसर खोलो. यहाँ पे दिख जाएगा. That's a proof, yes. नहीं दिखा तो रहा है. ओके, सो पहले हम अनेकांतवाद बताएंगे इन सिंपल टर्म्स. यू विल एक्सप्लेन अनेकांतवाद का मतलब क्या है. देन यू विल टेल अस the concept of dravya. Dravya means gun and paryay, which has both the aspects, permanence and temporariness. That is why we can never know it completely. यहाँ पे आप चाहो तो अनेकांतवाद के अंदर एक या दो सेंटेंसेस के अंदर या दो लाइन के अंदर पूरा जो क्लासिफिकेशन है उसको समराइज कर दो. The dravya or the substance or the substance itself is divided into various components. That is, बताओ क्या क्या है. पूरा नहीं बताना ना, अस्तिकाय नस्तिकाय का कोई रेलेवेंस नहीं है यहाँ पे. हमें तो नीचे के सारी बातें बतानी है. जीव, अजीव. इन अजीव देयर इज ब्रैकेट में डाल के धर्म, अधर्म, आकाश, पुद्गल and काल. All of them are covered in one line only. And then you can continue. Because the reality is so complex, no one can know it completely. Therefore, when we speak of it, when we speak of reality, we must speak in the terms of relativity, that is ad syat. Because if we say something relative in absolute terms, it is durniti. If we say something without expressing that it is a relative knowledge, it is ne. Therefore, to speak authentically, to speak with absoluteness, to speak authentically, लिखो absoluteness मत लिखो, वो confusion आ जाएगा तुम्हारे मन में. To speak authentically, one must use syat. To express this syadvad, Jains have used sevenfold logic, that is saptbhangi ne, that the 7 statements can be made about the same thing. फिर वो लिख दो, क्योंकि सप्तभंगी ने लिखा हुआ है प्रॉपर, तो सातों लिखने पड़ेंगे. उतनी जगह है. स्यात् अस्ति, स्यात् नास्ति, उनका छोटा छोटा सा एक्सप्लेनेशन, one line explanation. Use example also if possible. घटका वाला, pot वाला example डालो, 7 लिखे. Then you will have to criticize also. Your criticism should be aimed both at Anekantvad and Saptabhangi ne. So you will criticize Anekantvad is not acceptable to Vedant, which accepts only one reality, that is Brahm. ऐसे ऐसे करके आपने जो 2-3 हम लोगों ने लिखे. फिर सप्तभंगी ने के हमने criticism लिखे, that it doesn't, it only gives relative with no absolute. And if everything is relative, then Syadvad is also relative. ज्यादा लिख नहीं पाओगे, सिर्फ 4 या 5 क्रिटिसिज्म ही लिख पाओगे. Then you will write about importance. Importance, कुछ importance है सप्तभंगी ने अनेकांतवाद की. क्या है? बिल्कुल. And at the end, in the conclusion, you can write. अगर जगह नहीं बचे तो importance हम लोग conclusion में लिख देंगे. और अगर जगह बच गई है, जो नहीं बचेगी, फिर भी अगर बच गई है, if we have more space, then we can write in conclusion that Jain school of philosophy was the theological mean between Buddhism and Vedanta, which expressed as Anekantvad was a logical conclusion for Syadvad, or Syadvad is the logical conclusion for Anekantvad, which translated into the ethics of Jains, which are ahimsa. हमारे पंच महाव्रत. भाई अगर बहुत सारी चीजें हैं और बहुत सारे souls हैं, if infinite material things are there and infinite souls are there, and you can not say anything absolutely, always you are relative, you only know the relative positions, and you can speak in 7 ways. Is there anything to fight? No. तो fight खत्म. Then there are infinite souls. You are one of the souls. Should you hurt other souls? Because hurting means attracting karma pudgal. So first and foremost, what is most important? Not harming any other person. Ahimsa. Will you steal somebody's property or anything? Why? Again, karmic particle. Again, everything is related to karmic particle. चाहो तो conclusion में लिख दो. मतलब there can be any number of conclusions. Anekantvad and Syadvad, along with Saptbhangi ne of Jainism, leads to the ethics of Jain philosophy, which avoids or which gives us the way to avoid kashay, that is lobh, kam, moh, maya, to avoid karmic particles and thereby attain the liberation. जो हम जानते हैं ना वही लिखना है, बस कनेक्ट करके इंग्लिश में. इजी. दिखाओ, एक दो क्वेश्चंस दिखाओ, एक दो आंसर्स दिखाओ. जो बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट है अपने आंसर को लेके बच्चा, वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट. नहीं, पूरा चाहिए मुझे. रेड से लिख दिया. खोलो मयंक का, खोलो मयंक का, खोलो मयंक का, खोलो. अपने आप ही अच्छा है. हाँ, खोलो. पूरा कहाँ है ये? पूरा कहाँ है? तुमने लॉ कब किया? तुमने लॉ कब किया? यू नीड टू बी लॉयर ऑफ समबडी. इसे स्कैन करो और इसको भी दिखाओ, इसमें चलाओ. इसे भी करो, इसे भी ना, इन दोनों को वो करके लगाओ. Jainism, the believer of dualism, pluralism, अनेकांतवाद held that उत्पाद. देखो अब हर किसी का अपना तरीका है. Can you see? उत्पाद वे धारुवम संयुक्तम सतह, meaning reality is between changeness. changeness नहीं होगा, movement या फिर change ही लिखो सिर्फ, है ना. change and permanence. permanence की spelling थोड़ा सा ठीक करेंगे. and there are innumerable already means innumerable objects with innumerable aspects limiting our knowledge, and hence they also called it doctrine of manifold aspects. This doesn't limit our knowledge is limited by karmic particles. but ठीक है, अभी के लिए अगर हम इसको ज्यादा हमें बता दें, इसलिए मुझसे कॉपियां चेक मत कराया करो शुरुआत में, लेकिन still okay. Anekantvad, Jainism hold that there are many objects with their infinite aspects, and metaphysics of Jainism is termed as Anekantvad. Gives example that when research is done, then different aspects of the same objects are, as there are infinite objects, necessarily limits human knowledge. ठीक है. Syadvan means human knowledge is relative and limited, hence no absolute judgment can be given. Very good. Anekantvad हमेशा लिखेंगे, सिंबल्स अवॉइड करेंगे. बहुत बढ़िया, वेरी गुड. यहाँ पे साथ में अगर एग्जाम्पल भी लिख दिया जाए, what is इंग्लिश में, it will be more what do you say, more marks fetching. Is it a good answer? Good handwriting. Good handwriting. clear structuring and good use of terms wherever possible, isn't it? अच्छे से लिखा गया आंसर, यही तो लिखना है. This is a good answer. और जैसे जैसे आप पढ़ते जाओगे, रिविजन्स करते जाओगे, more things you will remember and then your answer will become more content rich. अभी यहाँ पे कहीं पर भी जीव, कार्मिक पार्टिकल्स, इन सब की बात नहीं आई है, लेकिन वो आएगी, कब आएगी? When you start revising this many times, वो अपने आप आएगी, उसमें किसी को बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो अपने आप naturally you will start writing those things. It's the answer written by your classmate, not a topper. मतलब अभी present topper नहीं है. But is it, can you see? अभिनव का था ना आंसर? वेरी गुड अभिनव. या मयंक का था? मयंक. There is no option for sending a PDF. There is, people are sending beta. Jainism establishes middle mean between Shanikvad, Ekantvad of Buddhism, and Brahmanism, Ekantvad of Vedanta by its theory of an Ekantvad. Jainism is a realistic. अब देखो ये वाला introduction पढ़ के हमें क्या लग रहा है? Tell me just by reading the introduction, the question is on what? No. Question भूल जाओ. Just read the introduction and tell me the question. तो इस इंट्रोडक्शन का क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए, how Jainism is a theological mean between Ekantvad of Buddhism and Vedanta. क्वेश्चन ये है, लेकिन हमारा क्वेश्चन क्या था? रिलेशन बिटवीन एकांतवाद एंड सप्तभंगी ने. सप्तभंगी ने तो आया ही नहीं यहाँ पे, स्यादवाद ही नहीं आया इंट्रोडक्शन में. कैन यू सी, इज दिस इंट्रोडक्शन रेलेवेंट to the question? टर्म है वो, तो सिर्फ एक टर्म की तरह यूज किया गया है, उसको एक्सप्लेनेशन की तरह यूज नहीं किया गया है. वी हैव टू लिंक द क्वेश्चन इन द इंट्रोडक्शन इटसेल्फ सो दैट एग्जामिनर नोज क्वेश्चन समझ आ गया है. ऑफ कोर्स अनेकांतवाद तो लिखेंगे ही, है ना, बट you don't have to mention, or even if you have to mention in a very brief, is a theological mean between Ekantvad of Buddhism and Vedanta. Khatam. One line. And then you can talk about this aspect, Syadvad and relativistic. Also mention Saptbhangi ne itself in the introduction, so that examiner knows that this person knows how to link Anekantvad with Saptbhangi ne. That is the question itself. According to Jainism, knowledge is relative, limited. There are infinite aspects of one thing. There are infinite knowledge. Confusing. One time you are saying limited, and then you are saying infinite. Link it. कहीं बीच में डालो. Initially, or the primary nature of soul is Anant Chatushte. और चतुष्कोटि नहीं है, क्या है? अनंत चतुष्ट. चतुष्कोटि is not, वो वेदांत में आएगा. Yes, infinite objects can't be perceived by an individual. This theory is known as. रिवाइज नहीं किया. क्यों? Infinite objects can't be perceived by an individual. Can't be perceived. We can perceive, but we cannot get the complete knowledge. ऐसा नहीं है हम इसको देख नहीं सकते, हम इसको देख सकते हैं लेकिन इसके सारे एस्पेक्ट्स को नहीं जान सकते, सिर्फ कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स को जान सकते हैं. we can know only few aspects, not complete aspects of this thing. तो जब हम वर्ड्स यूज करेंगे, कैसे वर्ड्स यूज करेंगे? We will try to be as, when you will read notes na, try to capture the words and the sentences of notes. That is why notes are there. वरना class notes देने का कोई importance तो है नहीं, वरना तो printed notes sufficient होते हैं. Class notes का मतलब ही यही है, capture the words or sentences that we have written. Okay. धारोव्यम समित टू नो द रियलिटी और जैन एपिस्टेमोलॉजी देयर आर 3 ways. ठीक है. ओके. देयर आर इनफाइनाइट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ. देखो अभी तक सप्तभंगी न्याय का मेंशन नहीं आया, आप देख रहे हो. हम कौन से पेज पे आ गए हैं? सेकंड पेज के आधा खत्म हो गया है. सप्तभंगी न्याय का एक बार भी मेंशन नहीं आया. आना चाहिए क्योंकि क्वेश्चन क्या है? सप्तभंगी न्याय डायरेक्टली. इट इज गुड ऑल्सो. ये रहा, बिल्कुल बहुत बढ़िया लिखा है. घटस्यात् अस्ति. नहीं दिख रहा? है ना? ओके. बहुत बढ़िया. देखो ये कितना बढ़िया से मेंशन किया है. दो द 7 steps one can save oneself from मिथ्या दर्शन और विपर्याय, one can move towards or far from ashrav towards samvar through nirjara can lead to penance. नहीं, liberation. बहुत बढ़िया. बिल्कुल गुड. later on correct flow, starting a little confused flow. An examiner can capture. Now you can see. अपने आप से नजर आ रहा है? नहीं, ये इसका आगे करो. ये यहाँ से स्टार्ट नहीं है, यहाँ से स्टार्ट है ना. In Jainism, both Anekanvad and Syadvad are two aspects of same teachings of realistic relativistic pluralism. Anekanvad is the metaphysical aspect. Syadvad or Saptabhangi Nyaya is the epistemological aspect of Jain philosophy. Okay. ठीक है. Then Jainism, metaphysics, Nyayavad. Okay. Fine. वैसे इतना ज्यादा हम इसको डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं थी, लेकिन ठीक है. But it's okay. Fine. It makes it's not wrong. Anekantvad is the Jain metaphysics of theory of manyness. According to the Jainism, there are innumerable Pudgal and innumerable Jiva. All are real. Jainism is the reality of both change and permanence. Better word is theological mean. Okay. Okay. Fine. लेकिन अभी जब आपने ऐसे चार्ट बना दिए हैं तो क्या लग रहा है? Too many charts? And it feels like you are too much concerned about putting everything rather than explaining it. And I tell you, if this is explained, it will take less space. Because you can concise the words, but you cannot concise the chart. है ना? Too many charts are not appreciated. ठीक है, ठीक है. अब बताओ इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? What is the problem? Check this answer and tell me what are the problems of this answer. Relationship पे ज्यादा बात नहीं करी. You have to explain the relationship in words, not just by making charts. Very right. What else? What else? Word limit. चलो word limit तो बाद में ठीक हो जाएगी. What else? कुछ और कमी नजर आ रही है? नहीं आ रही? Handwriting. Very good. Handwriting is pretty bad. दो चार हमदर्दी के लोग जिनकी खुद की बहुत खराब है. What else? पैराग्राफ के बीच में प्रॉपर स्पेसिंग नहीं है तो सब कुछ एक जैसा लग रहा है. What else? क्रिटिसिज्म लिखा, सप्तभंगी ने का क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं लिखा. चतुष्कोटि, 3 are superfluous, and that absolute one. भाई इतने सारे क्रिटिसिज्म्स में से अगर स्यादवाद के क्रिटिसिज्म्स है तो स्यादवाद पूछा जाएगा तो स्यादवाद के क्रिटिसिज्म लिखोगे ना. एंड सप्तभंगी ने का पूछा जाएगा. इफ द क्वेश्चन इज ऑन सप्तभंगी ने, यू विल सी कि कौन से हमारे सप्तभंगी ने के क्रिटिसिज्म है, दैट यू विल ट्राई टू यूज देम. जस्ट दिस इज व्हाट नीड्स टू बी डन. दिया है लेकिन ये रहा. ओह सॉरी, मतलब ये रहा. है लेकिन दिखा नहीं. So it is difficult to send. There is no option on application. When I try to send on website, they're automatically logged out. This took 15 minutes and I'm still unable to send. Pratibha, I think Pari and others, please help Pratibha how we can send the answers on this platform. I don't know actually myself. कैसे भेजते हैं बच्चे आंसर्स? बच्चों के पास ऑप्शन आता है? कैसे आता है? In comment when you open, क्या मुझे नहीं पता, बताओ उसको. हाँ, आजा कमेंट के पास ऑप्शन आता है लिंक का, वहां से. हाँ, चलो ऊपर दिखाओ बच्चे क्या बोल रहे थे. जल्दी 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 जल्दी. बस 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 बस. ओके फाइन, समझ में आ रहा है थोड़ा थोड़ा आंसर राइटिंग. नाउ यू कैन प्रैक्टिस अदर आंसर्स ऑफ Jainism also. It's okay if you are not able to write perfect answers in the first go. These are very good attempts. Howsoever criticism I have done, but it is just to it is only just to give you a sense of urgency and a sense of excellence that you need to achieve. All of these answers are very good. Sometimes people are not able to write even these answers after studying philosophy for many years. So don't worry, you are writing good. And whenever you feel lacking, remember, you only know when you are writing that you are lacking or anything. Unless you write, you feel very confident. And when you start writing, you realize what needs to be improved. So it's a good sign. It's a good thing if you feel my answers are not adequate, I was not able to finish, I did not include this, I did not include. This is the whole process of improving your answers. Sometimes people study their whole optional or their complete GS without ever properly writing answers. Just writing 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 answers is not practice. You should write hundreds of answers. So what you will do, keep a box. घर पे डब्बा है, एक डब्बा रखो. पेन खत्म हो जाए फिर क्या करो, उस डब्बे में डाल दो. कितने पेन इकट्ठे करेंगे हम? छोटा डब्बा नहीं लेना, बड़ा डब्बा लेना है. और you have to fill boxes after boxes, and each box will give you a confidence. That will be the confidence. So keep writing. And only with practice you can improve. There is no other way. There will never come a time that you will study so much and then you will one day write a complete, very good answer in the first attempt. No. No one can do it. I was also not able to do it. I also practiced. All the selected candidates you see are the ones who have practiced a lot. मेरे डब्बे बहुत सारे भरे थे, ऐसे लगे रहते थे हम सबके टेबल्स पे. And it should be in a healthy competitive spirit with your friend. Whose boxes ज़्यादा भरा हुआ है, more filled. It should be that. So if you just change the refill, then collect the refills. It's okay. But the idea is that you should have a proof of your writing, and keep all your answers. Make diary and keep all your answers so that when you want to, just before means flip over, then that will give you a confidence कि मैंने तो बहुत answers लिखे हैं और ये तो मैं reproduce कर ही लूंगा या कर लूंगी. Very important part of overall preparation. Fine. Okay, let us continue with Buddhism. The story of Buddha we have heard. Who was Buddha? Siddhartha, who went out for strolling 4 times. Each time he met first ill, old, then dead, then sage. And then there an event happened in his life where he saw that reality may be very different from what is perceived because of that party. And this induced Vairagya, and then he left. Then he tried various philosophical fields. So he also tried Karmakand. He then went to very penance giving ways of meditation also, but he could not find anything. At last, he sat under a tree and meditated for continuous 7 days. And there when he was contemplating, he was given this, or he had this enlightenment, जिसको कहते हैं बोधि. क्या बोलते हैं? बोधि. बोधि means enlightenment. And with this enlightenment, he realized what is the nature of reality. And with this nature of reality, he practiced it for 7 times, and then he found कि हाँ भाई यही reality है. And then he started preaching it. Preaching it to first, he preached to his friends. And slowly and steadily, the Sangh improved and elaborated and expanded. बहुत बड़ा संघ हो गया. And in this Sangh, so at that time, we earlier in the introduction itself heard, सब कोई parallel था. All the schools were running parallel. So there were Buddhists who were having verbal fights with Vedantins. There were verbal fights with Jains. So all of these schools were running after more and more disciples and preaching their own theory. So ऐसा होता था, एक village में जाते थे. So Buddhist monks would challenge, we are here to teach our theory. And if anybody can cancel Shastrarth, if anybody can cancel our arguments, we will become their disciples. So there was this verbal fight, and whoever used to lose will become the disciple of others. This is how all the theories developed initially. And Buddha himself was very influential teacher and a very influential philosopher. But he was not concerned with metaphysics and epistemology at all, not concerned at all with epistemology and metaphysics. He gave a story, and he used to recite it many times. Supposedly, a person gets shot with arrow in his heart. तीर लग गया दिल में. अब, what should be the first line of action for that person? क्या करना चाहिए? तीर निकालना चाहिए. और क्या करना चाहिए? हाँ, medically no, but yes. हाँ, तीर निकाल के क्या करना चाहिए? You should try to treat it. You should try to treat this wound that you are having. This is the first thing that you should be doing. Supposedly, a person is shot in the heart or shot with an arrow, and he thinks about, कैसा arrow है ये? Metal का है, लकड़ी का है? Is it made up of matter, or is it made up of plastic, or is it made up of steel, or is it atoms, or is it a compound of atoms? And if he starts contemplating, who must have shot me? Is it a shikari? Why did he shot me? What is the purpose behind shooting? Should he waste his time in this? Should he? No? So this is what Buddha said. Buddha said, when we are here, we all are suffering because suffering is the truth of life. He realized that first truth about life is that everyone is suffering, one way or the other. Some are suffering mentally, some are suffering physically, some are suffering emotionally, some are suffering because of pleasures, some are suffering because of lack of pleasures. But everyone is suffering according to Buddha. And because everyone is suffering, then their first aim or their first thought process should be to remove suffering. Should they while away their time or should they waste their time in thinking about metaphysics and epistemology? So Buddha said, or rather he did not answer any metaphysical or epistemological question. Never ever. And so if you were at that time and you go to Buddha and ask, Buddha, is there soul? He will say, he will just smile and say nothing. If you go and ask, Bhagwan, kaisa hai? He will say nothing. If you go and ask, is the world made up of matter or soul? He will say nothing. If you go and ask, is the world finite or infinite? He will say nothing. So all the metaphysical and epistemological questions he will not answer. And why he would not answer? It was because he didn't know the answer? No? He knows the answer, but he realizes that the answer or the complete reality is too complex to be understood like this. Therefore, he kept silent. And he rather wanted his disciples or the people to focus on what? To remove the suffering. He says, yaar, pehle to suffering remove karo na. What is the point of talking, arguing about metaphysics? Can you know metaphysics completely without realizing it? Can you? No. You must first remove suffering. And that is the purpose of life. Therefore, all the talks or all the theory that Buddha himself has given has no metaphysics. And it has no epistemology. It just tells us the interpretation of the reality and how we should move away from suffering. But after he died, after so many, some 50, 100 years, people started to talk and started to interpret what Buddha meant by his silence. ऐसा होता है ना, जैसे आप लोगों के साथ भी होता होगा, supposedly one of the person you like, if that person just remains silent and smiles, then you interpret according to your own self, according to your own thinking. Similarly, the disciples of Buddha interpreted his theory in their own manner. There were hundreds of schools that arose, hundreds. 65 were major schools. But out of those, 4 survived. And major are 2, Hinyan and Mahayana. This Hinyan means small. Yan matlab vehicle, smaller vehicle. So Hinyan was difficult, close to Buddha's original teachings, therefore less people could follow it. But Mahayan, Maha means bigger, Yan means vehicle. Mahayan was more lucrative. So many people could, board that Yan or board that vehicle to cross the world of suffering to reach liberation. So Hinyan and सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है notes में. Don't worry. Hinyan and Mahayana. In Hinyan, there are again 2 schools, Vaibhashika and Swatantrika. In Mahayana, Yogachara and Madhyamik Shunyavad. So schools हम लोग करेंगे बाद में. पहले हम लोग क्या समझेंगे? What is the original theory of Buddha? Because schools are interpretations of Buddhist teachings in their own manner, and that is why they are very different. Some schools will be realistic, others will be idealistic, and last will be nihilistic. एक कहेगा चीजें रियल है, दूसरा कहेगा only soul is real, तीसरा कहेगा कुछ भी रियल नहीं है, ना मैटर ना सोल. So their interpretation or these schools are very different and very different interpretations. But before we see the interpretations, we must know what Buddha said. Clear? Okay. Buddha is a very intellectually practical person. He gave his theory, but he said, before you accept my theory, you must reason it yourself. I am giving the theory. This is what I have known, but you must also use your own reason. Before accepting anything said by anyone, should you accept? Did Buddha say कि मेरी theory मान लो? Buddha said that this is what I knew, but you must reason your own self. Apo Dipo Bhava. You should be your own light. Be your own light. Be your own light. Very important phrase. Don't wait for somebody else to show you light. Be your own light.
Did not follow that. And both the disciples attained liberation. The sages and both the disciples.
It's assumed. Who can confirm that a person has attained liberation or not? Can you confirm?
To promote their ideology might say that this is the way and we all have attained liberation.
This is how it works. How else religion works? This is how religion works. So if you go to a Mahatma, any Mahatma, Acha, you people know the story. Chalo ek batati hu. Very interesting. So once how beliefs are made, है ना? This is वैसे part of society or ethics when we do it. So how your beliefs are made. Once there was this bus going on. So बहुत लंबे लंबे रास्ते होते हैं ना? So bus travels. And have you seen those signposts? 150 kilometers. ऐसे देखें? Milestones लगे रहते हैं. पत्थर के, है ना? So once a bus stopped just around the milestone, one person was very, because it was very hot, he kept his गमछा को पता नहीं इंग्लिश में क्या कहते हैं यार, scarf. But scarf से मजा नहीं आया, गमछे में मजा है. He took out his gamcha, orange color gamcha, and he put it on the signpost like this for सूखने के लिए, for letting it dry. And after some time, because the gamcha was there, and next bus came, 3-4 buses passed, and he forgot, rather he went by और वो gamcha वहीं पे रह गया. After 2-3 buses, a lady was wanting to do some puja, and she could not find some temple, and she had to eat something. So she said, "Arey, what should I do?" And she saw that something orangish is there. She said, "It's looking like Hanumanji Mandir, hai na? Something must be there." And she did some puja. She sprinkled water, put some flowers, put some tilak and everything. और वो चली गई, आके उन्होंने खाना खा लिया because उनका तो व्रत था. Next bus came. So people said, अरे तो मंदिर है यहाँ पे. They also started to do puja. They also donated some money. And it happened that hundreds of people, hundreds of buses passed from that way, and slowly that area became very renowned. Raste Wale Baba. And soon it happened that one person said, I because उसका selection हो ही रहा था, वो पढ़ने में अच्छा था, but ऐसा हुआ, he said कि I asked for a mannat and I became IAS because I wanted or I prayed on this Raste Wale Baba. Then what happened? What will happen next? Batao. So aspirants started flocking there. अब सिर्फ रस्ते वाले बाबा मन्नत पूरी करते हैं. हाँ? उसी जगह को ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर कहने लगे. But can you understand? So, of course, if you are going towards, if you go to any religion's Baba or priest, or whoever is the one who is propagating it, right? Whoever is the priest, Maulvi, bishop, whatever and whatever. They will all talk about with extreme firmness about their own path. And they will tell that, of course, people have gone towards liberation through our path. And the liberation by others are fake. Path subjective. बिल्कुल path subjective है. हम सभी वहां पे चले जाएंगे. लो देखो, है ना? ये भी देख लो, ऐसे ही होता है. This is how it is. Fine. So Buddha was a very practical person, coming back, and in his practical understanding. And if you are more scientific, you will like Buddha more. If you are less scientific, still you will like Buddha more. But science is very close to the Buddhist understanding, Buddha's understanding, not schools of Buddhism, but Buddhist understanding. In the sense, Buddha said, one thing is very certain about this world, that it is changing. Everything is changing at every moment. Do you think this table or the chair you are sitting on, is it permanent? No? How is it changing? It's decaying slowly. You yourself, do you celebrate your birthdays? Should birthdays be celebrated? You are getting older, you are getting nearer to the end, isn't it? So, it is like, are you changing? Are you changing? Every cell, every part of you is changing. How many cells does your body change in 1 second? Is this table decaying? Is this floor decaying? Is this anything and everything that you see? It's decaying. It's changing. Change is happening. Even if you say, अच्छा science का देखते हैं, है ना? In science, the smallest unit is it atom now? No. Electrons, protons, neutrons. Okay. After that, quarks. And after that, still it can be broken down. We haven't yet discovered it, but it is there. Scientists say that it can be broken down further as more and more technology will be evolved. This means, and what is at the last end? So electrons, तुम्हें पता चल रहा है ये टेबल के अंदर electrons हैं और पर electrons move कर रहे हैं. You know electrons move, and they are continuously changing. And recent studies of science say that electrons, protons, or rather the leptons themselves are transitory. Transitory means they are continuously fluctuating between 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. कोई फिजिक्स का बच्चा है यहाँ पे? Anyone else? तुम फिलॉसफी थोड़ी पढ़ चुके हो ना, अब तुम में वो बात बची नहीं है जो फिजिक्स वालों में रहती है. अब तुम मेटाफिजिकल हो चुके हो. हाँ. So physics says about it. What does physics say about it? Quantum levels. Yes, string theory. String theory, yes. और बाकी दूसरा बच्चा, हाँ, quantum levels. So now with this, quantum computing पढ़ा है, बाकी सबने भी पढ़ा ही होगा ना. उसके अंदर एक टर्म है, क्या है वो? हाँ, entanglement. Do you know what is quantum entanglement? What does it state about reality? That reality is ever changing. Reality is continuously changing. ये तो खैर साइंस ने कहा, लेकिन बुद्धा भी यही कह के गए. That reality is ever changing. He said that nothing is permanent. Everything is continuously changing. Things exist for a moment and then go. Exist for a moment and give their effect and go. He said that reality or this world or anything in the world itself is nothing but cause and effect. So one atom causes the other atom and this atom goes. This atom causes another state. अब इसको atom से ना समझ के हम क्या समझेंगे? This state of atom causes this state of atom towards this state of atom, and everything is moving. Rather, it is just a flow. According to Buddha, everything is changing. Everything is momentary. Momentary means exists for a moment and goes. And because this flow is continuous, चीजें exist करती हैं, blip, 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 blip. And because it is so fast, it's so fast, just like videos. So videos, how do we capture videos? पता है वीडियोस कैसे बनती हैं? क्या पता है? क्या कहते हैं उसको? फ्रेम्स प्लस पर सेकेंड, है ना? क्या कहते हैं? फ्रेम रेट नहीं, इसका पर्टिकुलर टर्म भी है ना, FPS, frames per second. So actually they are photographs, many photographs compiled together and run at a very fast rate, and it appears as if you are seeing a moving thing, that is a video or a movie, but it is nothing but a snapshot or lot of pictures taken at very short interval and moved at a very fast pace. Similarly, according to Buddha, reality is things which are continuously changing, one causing the other, one causing the other, one causing the other, and this change is happening, and this change is so fast, it feels everything is continuous. Like, can you see this table? It appears stable and it appears continuous, but is it continuous or is it stable? Internally it is changing. Now take it in a time frame. What will happen after 2 years? A little weaker, a little fadier, थोड़ी गंदी हो जाएगी. 5 years, 15 years, very weak. 100 years, हाँ, may not even exist. ये लकड़ी टूट जाएगी, इसके अंदर लकड़ी के अंदर से छेद हो जाएंगे, and अगर इस पर कुछ भारी सामान रख दिया, if you put something heavy, it will crumble. But is that crumbling? Did this crumbling happen at that moment itself? Rather, wasn't it a continuous process, slowly and steadily? Are you getting old? Like suddenly if a person dies, like when people die, so that death was, is it just that moment that they die? Or is it a continuous process which is harming the body slowly, steadily, one enzyme, one receptor, one this, one that, and slowly body processes stop. Everything is momentary and everything is moving very fast. Each moment is moving very fast and everything is related in a sequence of cause and effect. Your earlier self is causing your the next self. अभी क्लास में आने से पहले आप कुछ और थे, क्लास में आने के बाद, बुद्धिज्म पढ़ने के बाद, some change has happened, and this change will again happen after some time, again. So things are always changing. According to Buddhism, there is a Nityavad. What is there? He gives the theory of Anityavad. Anityavad means non-permanence. Anitya, nitya matlab permanent, anitya matlab non-permanent. Vad matlab theory. Anityavad, theory of non-permanence. Nothing is permanent. Everything is momentary. Anityavad leads to क्षणिकवाद. क्षण मतलब पल, सेकंड. सेकंड से भी नैनो सेकंड्स. क्षण इज वेरी स्मॉल यूनिट ऑफ टाइम. बता दो, एग्जैक्ट बता दो. हाँ हाँ हाँ. Tends to 0. Yes, a very small unit of time. Very small. Shad. Everything exists for a shad or a moment. According to Buddha, things exist for a moment and then they cause their effect and go. Cause their effect and go. Cause their effect and go. According to Buddha, things exist for a moment. This is known as theory of momentariness. And when this theory of momentariness is applied to material atoms, material things, it is known as Sanatanvad. Sanatanvad क्या होता है? What is Sanatan? Continuous. Something which has been continuously there. Sanatan, Sanatan flow, Sanatan dharma. Sanatan suna hai word? That's Sanatan dharma. What is that Sanatan here? Continuous flow. So things like this table, like this screen, they are appearing as permanent because why do you see this screen? इसमें लग नहीं रहा ना कुछ change हो रहा है? क्यों नहीं लग रहा? It's very fast. It appears as permanent. And because why it appears as permanent? Because there is a rapid flow. There is a continuous flow of things. And this flow is explained through Sanatan Vad. And when you apply the same Kshanikvad to soul, then it becomes Anatmavad of Buddhism. Anatmavad means no soul theory. Basically, if material atoms are temporary and momentary, souls are all. अरे कुछ बनाने की जरूरत नहीं भाइयों, सब बना हुआ है नोट्स में, सिर्फ सुन लो, समझ लो. Everything is there. I'm not teaching anything new. Whatever I'm teaching is here. I have already put up everything, all the diagrams and everything. Just understand, because after you understand, we will read about it, है ना? And Buddhism is something which if you once understand, it's very easy. Else, Buddhism is like a maze. People enter Buddhism and they never exit. वो खो जाते हैं बुद्धिज्म के अंदर ही. And only way to understand Buddhism in the best format is through science. If you try to understand Buddhism through Buddhism, it's difficult. If you try to understand Buddhism through science, it's very easy. Fine? सिर्फ एक बार फ्लो समझ लो, उसके बाद हम इन सब में डिटेल में जाएंगे. ये सब अलग अलग कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, इसको हम बहुत डिटेल में करेंगे. आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू द फ्लो, हाउ बुद्धा विल एक्सप्लेन एवरीथिंग. सो Anityavad, nothing is permanent, leads to Kshanikvad. Kshanikvad means theory of momentariness. Things exist for a moment. When they say things exist for a moment, when they say material things, it leads to Sanatanvad. That things exist for a moment, but they appear permanent. This chair appears permanent because there is a continuous flow. And when you apply Kshanikvad to soul, the concept of soul, this leads to Anatmavad. There is no permanent soul, but soul is also changing and temporary, momentary. Soul is causing the next soul, next soul, next soul. Everything is changing. Soul is also changing. So when a prelims question is asked, which of the following schools do not accept eternal soul? And the options are Jainism, Vedant, Charvak and Buddhism. नीचे options क्या हैं? 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. क्या आंसर है? 3, 4. Buddhism also do not accept eternal soul. अगर क्वेश्चन को चेंज कर दिया जाए, which of the following schools accept temporary or momentary soul? Only Buddhism. Buddhism accepts temporary soul. Fine. And now, if everything is momentary, material is momentary, soul is momentary, should we get attached to them? Should I get attached to this phone? Why? Momentary. खराब हो जाएगा, momentary after some time. We know this fact. होना नहीं चाहिए लेकिन हो जाएगा. This is how everything is. People. Should we get attached to people? Why? Sometimes they will go away. That is why we should not get attached, because anyone who gets attached to temporary things is a fool. Something which is not permanent. जैसे तुम्हारा मैंने बताया था वो story, वो example. So your friend is there and he says, I have fallen in love with the girl who said that she will be with me for 2 days. Or a boy, he said he will be with me for 2 days. पहले ही बता दिया था कि 2 दिन का ही हमारा relationship है. And now this person has fallen in love. क्या कर सकते हैं? हाँ, ऐसा हो सकता है. लड़की देखा, boys are also not practical enough. You know, more boys get depressed when girls leave them. Remember this. We will do all of this again, Pari. No issues. Instantaneous. Saradhanwad is something which does not have a beginning. Yes. So everything is in a continuous flow. So now when there is nothing which is permanent, everything is temporary, therefore should we get attached? No. And when there is no attachment, will there be suffering? Sari suffering क्यों है? Attachment. Like from your childhood to now, just review all the sufferings you have had. किस वजह से है? Attachment. Had you not been attached to a dream, had you not been attached to a person, or had you not been attached to a thing, there would have been no suffering. But suffering hoti nahi na. All problem is because of attachment. So Buddha says there is suffering, and then there is a cause to suffering. There is a way to end suffering and the path of suffering. The path to end the suffering is Ashtangik Marg, or 8-fold path. The 4 noble truths of Buddha. So Buddha started his theory with 4 noble truths. उनकी सारी theory किस चीज पे based है? 4 noble truths, also known as 4 आर्य सत्य. 4 आर्य सत्य. सत्य मतलब truths. 4 noble truths. The one who understands these 4 noble truths according to Buddha, understands reality. जिसको ये चार सत्य पता है उसे रियलिटी पता है. First is there is suffering, means दुख. दुख है. कोई ऐसा जिसे दुख नहीं हो? अंकित, ठंडी हो गई चाय. इन लोगों ने मेरे को बहुत दुख दिया. मेरी चाय ठंडी हो गई. दुख, दुख है ना. कोई है जो एकदम जो ये क्लेम कर सकता है कि मुझे कोई दुख नहीं है? Everyone is having some or the other trouble, some or the other suffering, physical, emotional, psychological, mental, relationship, this, that, whatever. Everyone is suffering. This means that one important reality of the world is that there is suffering. Accepted? First noble truth accepted. Then second noble truth, which Buddha says is there is cause of suffering. कोई cause है suffering का? क्या है? दुख सामुद्य. There is a cause of suffering. Because बिना cause के तो कुछ होता ही नहीं. There, if you have effect, then there must be a cause. If you see curd, there must be a milk. If you see rain, there must be some clouds. Similarly, if you are having suffering, there must be a cause to it. Valid? Clear? And third, there is a way out of suffering. एक रास्ता है जिससे बाहर आया जा सकता है. मतलब ये तो फैक्ट है कि भाई बाहर आया जा सकता है. That is दुख निरोध. They say if you remove, so you say कि cause से effect आता है. So cause leads to effect. But if I remove the cause, will there be effect? No. So we are having suffering as an effect, which has a cause, attachment. But if you remove the cause, will there be suffering? No. So there is a way through which we can remove the suffering. And fourth, but now you will ask, what is the way? How to remove this attachment or how to remove this suffering, which Buddha says is Dukh Nirodh Gamini Pratipad. That is eightfold path. The path to remove suffering is eightfold path. Ashtangic mark. There is a way. That is, there are 8 things that you should be following to remove this attachment. Therefore, to remove your interchangeably. Yes. Because desire is a, what do you say, a subset of attachment. Huh? You are attached to your body. अटैचमेंट के कारण हो रहा है. थप्पड़ मारो. नहीं क्यों? हाँ, अगेन अटैचमेंट टू योर बॉडी. मोमेंटरी है ना बॉडी भी. काउस कॉज. हाँ, वो कर्मों का फल है ना. कर्मों का फल, कर्मों का अभी कर्म भी इंट्रोड्यूस होंगे. हाँ, हाँ, that is why ना बुद्धिज्म. अरे Buddhism is a spiritual theory. It's not a motivational theory. So no. So Buddhism talks about अरे वही पुराना देखो एक ही ज्ञान है मैं तुम्हें बता दूं. There is only one theory and that I like very much. Theory of equanimity. I told you. मैंने बताया था अपन रिलीजन बनाएंगे. तुम लोग मेरे सब पहले फॉलोअर्स ही हो. ठीक है. There is nothing very सारे धर्म सारी फिलोसफीज सब एक तरफ आपको लेके जाएंगे in the end, and that is a state where you are neither too happy neither too sad but you are at content with yourself. That contentment is equanimity. उसके लिए संन्यास लेने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. When people take sannyas, they rather sometimes go away from equanimity. And equanimity is the way which you can follow in any state. You are a student, you can be equanimous. You are in a relationship, you can be equanimous. Equanimous कैसे? आपको कोई अच्छा लगा, अच्छी बात है. वो चला गया, कोई बात नहीं. कोई बात नहीं. कोई और आपके लिए बना होगा, है ना? Simple equanimity. So that equanimity in life is the message which everyone will be giving you. So Buddha also will say the same thing. Jainism said the same thing. Remove passions. So if you remove passions, if you remove everything, it's not that you stop acting. Then you act according to your duty. आप कर्म करने के लिए कर्म करते हो. कर्म कर, फल की इच्छा मत कर. वो फल क्या है? अटैचमेंट टू फल मत रखो. कर्म करने के लिए कर्म करो. एग्जाम्पल Rosho talked whole life on contentment. Yes, so he is the interpreter of Vedantin and Jainism philosophy. Yes, he Osho mixes what? So how many of you know about Osho? अच्छा, वैसे थ्योरिया नहीं पता तुम्हें. ओशो सब पता है, हाँ? So Osho is a philosopher. He was a Jain. His original name was Rajneesh Jain, and he was an ardent follower of Jainism and Vedantin, and he mixed Jainism, Buddhism, Vedantin, and gave his own theory. A little bit mix of Charvak also, है ना? Yes, a lot of mix of Charvak also. So it is like एक उधर चॉकलेट शेक, एक उधर वनीला शेक, एक उधर स्ट्रॉबेरी शेक. ओशो ने क्या किया? सब शेक्स मिला दिए, मिक्स शेक. एक अलग ही थ्योरी निकाल दी, है ना? So this is like, so but again, what is Osho talking about? The same thing, same message is not changing. Spinoza is talking about same thing. You talk about any Western or Indian or any philosopher, you people are not studying. हमारा syllabus बहुत limited है, लेकिन बाद में कभी मौका मिले तो स्टोइक्स को पढ़ो. मार्कस ऑरेलियस की बुक है मेडिटेशंस, lovely book. All of them are talking about same end result. सबका यही है रास्ता. So Buddhism is also talking about same thing. And so passion, it's not like if you will not be attached to your goal of IAS officer, you will not work for it. You will work for it. You will be working for it with much more objectivity. आपको पता है ये एग्जाम निकालना है. There are two ways. अगर मेरा एग्जाम नहीं निकला तो जीवन खत्म. मुझे तो बनना ही बनना है. What is this? Passion. And when you are too passionate about something, what happens? Attachment. When you are too attached, you become fearful. The more fear you have, will you be able to study more or less? तुम्ही ने बताया. And if you are less attached, then you will be very objective. एग्जाम निकालने के लिए क्या चाहिए? इतना पढ़ना है. ऐसे 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 क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, मुझे इतना पढ़ना चाहिए, ऐसे करना चाहिए, इतनी प्रैक्टिस करनी चाहिए, करना चाहिए. वेरी सिंपल. यू फॉलो द पाथ, हो गया. So we don't have to be emotional about it. We have to be objective about it. In life, whenever you will be objective about things, you will gain much more success. Much more easy success. Emotions should be utilized in a positive manner. In a very positive manner. Like आप अपनी फैमिली के लिए यूटिलाइज कर रहे हो, लेकिन वहां पे भी बहुत ज्यादा जब इमोशंस मारोगे तो वो क्या कहेंगे? जब मम्मी बहुत ज्यादा इमोशंस मारती हैं तो क्या करते हो? क्या करते हो? Yes, so we should be more objective. This is what Buddha is talking about. Fine? Hanji.
Completely focusing on the form that they've actually got. The human form. And human form is a mixture of everything. It includes pain, fear, everything. It includes. And we are trying to, the equanimity that we're trying to go away from all of
No. इक्वानिमिटी नहीं है, इक्वानिमिटी मेरी थ्योरी है, उस वो बुद्धिज्म का पार्ट नहीं है, ठीक है? तो yes, so these people, all the this is a criticism of Indian philosophy. हमने लिखा भी था that they are more focused on other world rather than this world. So they are more focused on liberation, and rather than appreciating or enjoying or keeping a view of this world, they are more focused कि liberation कैसे मिलेगी. It is there. तभी तो वो नास्तिक है. हाँ. To avoid suffering, yes, not happiness, avoid suffering. कहाँ नहीं आएगा, लिबरेशन पढ़ेंगे तब. Sorry, I'm having a little cold, and I'm sorry online people, because you will have to bear these stormy sounds. हाँ, क्या कह रहे थे? बॉडी को अगर पेन भी मिल रहा है वो उसका पार्ट नहीं है ना, पेन में जबरदस्ती जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. मिडिल पार्ट वो है. कहाँ नहीं जाने की जरूरत? मतलब बॉडीली पेन जैसे आपने बोला ना, मतलब बॉडीली पेन है तो उससे अटैच है. तो लेकिन मैं पेन तो I'll tell you, अभी हम करेंगे, अभी हमें ना प्रतीत समुत्पाद करेंगे. ये सबका ओरिजिनेशन पॉइंट है प्रतीत समुत्पाद, है ना? अभी हमने वो साइकिल देखी नहीं है, अभी आ जाएगा समझ, चिंता मत करो. देखो जैनिज्म में कुछ बाकी रहा नहीं ना, चारवाक में. Similarly, देखो philosophy, whenever we study philosophy ना, we should be able to hold on some doubts in yourself for just to let the thing complete, because ultimately each philosopher will give all the explanations of their own. Fine, and your all doubts will get automatically resolved with the end of philosophy. अब ये जो आपने पूछा, इसका जवाब मिलेगा प्रतीत समुत्पाद में. फिर जैसे हम प्रतीत समुत्पाद पढ़ेंगे, कुछ नए आएंगे, उनका जवाब मिलेगा आगे में लिबरेशन वाले कॉन्सेप्ट में. So this is a continuous cycle, and at the end, so you keep writing your doubts, and at the end when we have reached, just read them. You yourself will find, except one or two, everything gets resolved itself. तो मैं तो बता रही हूँ कि आम आदमियों के लिए नहीं है बुद्धिज्म, हर किसी के लिए है. These are spiritual teachings. Their ultimate aim is to remove suffering. How many, like, so whatever you get, how many of you know any IAS officers in their personal life? In your personal life, you know somebody? Are they very happy? मेरी बात अलग है यार, मैं मतलब मैं इक्वानिमिटी वाली हूँ ना, मैंने फिलोसफी पढ़ लिया है. But apart from me, others, yeah, are they happy? See, you people are running after this, but does it ensure happiness? So we have to understand that all of these things, which theories or philosophies we are reading, they are a different thought process. They want to know the reality. They want to remove the suffering. They want to attain something which will not let them keep bound towards this birth and death cycle. They want to attain liberation. And these are people who are spiritually heightened spirits. वो लोग हैं, उन्हें नहीं मतलब एक एग्जाम निकालने का, एक फोन खरीदने का, या ये और they are not into these smaller things, because people who are attached to these things, they are bound to suffer. देखो दो ऑप्शंस होंगे. जैसे सपोजली अभी आपने पूछा ना कि पैशन, you are very passionate about this exam, then what will happen? Because you are passionate, supposedly there are two options: either you will clear or you will not clear. Not clear means suffering. If you clear means maybe Monday happiness. Then you will start worrying about, cadre, and you will keep crying even if you are rank 1 about the numbers you have got. I have written much better. I should have got this better in number. And even if you meet a 60-year-old officer, he will talk about, यार उस वक्त मेरे ना एसए में अगर 5 नंबर और आ जाते ना, 60 साल हो गए सर. Yeah, but still, then you will start worrying about your cadre. There are two options: you will get the best cadre, or you will get the not your preference. If it's not your preference, you will keep cribbing about your cadre. All your unhappiness is because of your cadre. And if supposedly you get the cadre of your preference, then next worry, good posting. Then you'll keep fighting for good posting. There are two options. Two options: not so good posting and very good posting. And when you are at a good posting, again, good posting means too much work, and too much work means stress. Stress means suffering. In your relationships, there are two options: either you will do love marriage, either you will do arranged marriage. If you do love marriage, suffering. If you do arranged marriage, suffering. So, no marriage, suffering. All three option means suffering. No. So, suffering is constant. Fine. अरे यार बुद्धिज्म में कन्वर्ट थोड़े ना होना है तुम लोगों को. इट्स ओके. मैम मीन्स नो मैरिज, नो सफरिंग. नो मैरिज इज ऑल्सो सफरिंग. People will not call you into their parties. है ना? People will have kids. They will have your own lives. You will be again single. Just roaming here and there. Does Buddhism also focuses on liberation or this life? Buddhism focuses on liberation within this life, liberation from passions, and ultimate liberation, of course, from the cycle of birth and death. We will see. There are again the concept of Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. The same concept will be applied here also. ठीक है? But ma'am, what about half marriage? मतलब क्या चल रहा है ये? Half marriage क्या होता है? Live in होता है. Live in also suffering. Live in is suffering. So no escape from suffering. No escape. और बताओ, और कहीं पे तुम लग रहा होगा सफरिंग नहीं है? वहां पे भी क्रिएट कर देती हूँ. क्या? प्लेइंग चोट लग सकती है. और हमेशा यू आर वरिड हार जाओगे, और अगर जीत गए तो तुम्हें दुख होगा ना, किसी को हराया मैंने, नहीं? टेंशन रहेगा, अगली बार भी जीतना है ना? सो ओके, कम बैक, इट्स ओके, समझ में आ गया आप लोगों को, ठीक है? let us read a little bit and then we will continue. Four truths. What are the four truths? There is suffering, there is cause of suffering, there is cessation of suffering, and there is a way leading to this cessation of suffering. दुख निरोध गामिनी प्रतिपाद. ये P और R के बीच में जो स्पेस है वो नहीं होना चाहिए. Buddha is known as top physician. Top physician, why? Because he is like a Vaidya. Another name is Vaisajya Guru. Vaisajya Guru or Vaidya. Vaidya, why Vaidya? Just as Vaid or doctor removes the illness, therefore Buddha is there to remove the illness of ignorance or attachment. हाँ, psychologist जो करना चाहो बोलना चाहो, that's like, but he solves a lot of problem in the life of people. Reality is actually very complex. यही बुद्धा ने भी कहा है कि reality is actually very complex. Us limited people, limited मतलब we are limited in senses, cannot understand the complex reality, so it cannot be expressed in finite things. Avyaktani, there are a lot of things which Buddha opted silence for, and after many years of Buddha's death, Buddhism divided into two main schools. ये सिर्फ फ्लो चार्ट है, अभी इसके बाद हम दोबारा ये सारी चीजें आएंगी. फ्लो चार्ट्स जो आप लोग अपने हैंड रिटन नोट्स में बनाते हैं ना अभी फ्लोइंग, वो है. Then Hinayan and Mahayan. Hinayan means small vehicle, लिख लो चाहो तो. Smaller vehicle. It can accommodate less people. Here they talk about self-liberation, apna liberation. And they give the concept of arhat or arihat. Ari matlab dushman. Hat means marna. The one who kills their enemies. And enemies means passions. According to Buddhism, what is our most difficult enemy? Passions, attachment. You cannot, it's very difficult to defeat your attachments. Very difficult. Then in Hinayan, there are two schools, Vibhashika and Swatantrika. Then is Mahayan. Mahayan means liberation of all. Here there is a concept of Bodhisattva or Karuna or compassion. We will see what it is. And it is again divided into two schools, Yogachara and Mahayan or Madhyamik Shunyavad. ठीक है, ये सब यार तुम लोग बाद में कर लेना. अब आ जाओ सीधा बुद्धिज्म पे. इसमें ऐसा कुछ है नहीं प्रतीत समुत्पाद पढ़ते. First point, ma'am, then acceptance of one thing is not suffering. Right? कौन बोल रहा है प्यार से विश्वास उठ जाएगा? नीचे लाओ. So ma'am, Buddha did self-liberation or liberation for all? Of course, self-liberation. नीचे करो, नीचे करो. हाँ हाँ परी, yes. फिलॉसफी पढ़ने के बाद उठ ही जाता है. Okay, Buddhism. So Buddhist philosophy is based on core teachings of Buddha, who after enlightenment preached four noble truths or Arya Satya. Buddha himself was a teacher or a spiritual heir who taught ethical conduct and how to remove. Why की जगह लिखो how to remove suffering. And how to remove suffering. Full stop. He was not interested in systematic metaphysics or epistemology. Third, according to him, if anybody has been shot by an arrow in heart, then first and foremost, that person should remove the arrow and heal the wound. But if that person wastes his time and energy on contemplating the material of arrow, shape of arrow, or the qualities of person who has shot the arrow, it will be useless. ठीक है? Therefore, फिर क्या किया बुद्धा ने? Therefore, Buddha rejected any kind of metaphysical and epistemological questions, as these questions takes away individuals' attention from the most important situation at hand, that is the removal of suffering. उसने कहा suffering पे ध्यान दे नहीं रहे हो, फालतू की बातें कर रहे हो. Metaphysics, epistemology. First thing that we should be talking about is suffering. Buddhism is a heterodox. Heterodox means not accepting the authority of Vedas. And atheistic. Atheistic means not believing in God. ये तो हमने बोला है ना. Buddha is not concerned about these things. So we have interpreted his theory as all of these things. Okay. Heterodox means against Vedas and Vedic ritualism. Atheistic means not believing in God. He gave various arguments to reject God. उन्होंने कहा कि देखो भगवान कुछ नहीं होता. क्यों नहीं होता? Why Buddha rejected God? हाँ, बिल्कुल. Buddha said, first argument is either God is kind or either there is powerless God. या तो kind नहीं है या फिर power नहीं है. If he is powerless, then we are also powerless. What is the point in making him God? And if he is kind, then why is there suffering? Why is there suffering? Now, first argument एकदम defeat हो गया. उसने कहा और अगर God है तो suffering remove क्यों नहीं कर देता? और अगर suffering है तो मतलब God नहीं है. Let us read. बुद्धा ने.
You said he never spoke about metaphysics.
He rejected God as such.
About God. He wanted to reject God and have to speak about it.
But he did not put it as a metaphysics thing. He did not prove it. He said, "Yeah, देखो, this is logical. This is what my logic says." He did not make any attempt to give proofs or to put it as a complete theory कि यहाँ पे ये इसलिए नहीं है, उसलिए नहीं है. He was not concerned about metaphysics proper. He just gave his views. अभी तो पढ़ते थे समुत्पाद भी आएगा, वो भी एक metaphysics ही है ना? But again, he was not concerned about the putting up it as a proper theory. He gave those relevant parts which were essential for understanding. Else he said, बाकी अपना reason करो और समझो, अपनी suffering दूर करो. बस उतना ही है ना. He gave various arguments to reject God. Number one, if there is God who is all powerful and full of compassion, then why is there pain and suffering in the world? Second, this is again a very good argument. ये मम्मियों के लिए बड़ा काम आता है. So now tell me, if somebody is a person who has done bad karma, a very bad karma, maybe he's a murderer or a rapist or a thief, can God give him heaven? Can God give him good things? No. And if there is a very good person who has done a lot of good karmas, very good karmas, will God give him hell? Or will God make him suffer? This means that if we are doing good karma, we will get good results. If we do bad karma, we will get bad results. What is the role of God? Where is the role of God? So he gives an example that if in your courtyard you plant a mango tree, can God turn it into a neem tree? Or if you plant a neem tree, can God convert it into a mango tree? This means we reap what we sow. There is no requirement of concept of God. कौन? इंटेंशन मैटर करता है, वेरी राइट. नहीं नहीं, तो ये तो कर्मों का खेल, दिस इज कर्मा थ्योरी ना. बट इज देयर एनी रूल ऑफ गॉड? नो.
maybe God is from that like लोग नीड में से आम निकल रहा है, नींद कितनी निकल रही है, वो कैसे निकल रही है, वो
Natural process, cause and effect.
God is enabling that to happen.
Cause and effect.
But then God की वजह ना वो इसमें was रुक नहीं सकता क्योंकि अगर कोई ऑर्डर कर नहीं रहा.
Cause and effect, according to Buddha, it is run by cause and effect.
Everything is cause and effect, and what is the first cause?
हाँ, वो बुद्धा ने एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया, वो किसी ने एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया. First cause has never been explained. Ma'am, but you said he used to do meditation, so why kind of meditation he used to do, or pray for what? Meditation to know your own reality. It is very like, how many of you know about Vipassana? Vipassana, you know? Vipassana is a Buddhist way of meditation. So 10 days you have to be in utter silence. There is a proper retreat, free of cost. Food and everything is there, and if possible, go there once in life. It is very useful as a meditative technique. There are a lot of hundreds of Vipassana centers. Hundreds of Vipassana centers. All of them are very beautiful, very nicely maintained. So there you go, for 10 days you can't speak to anything, you can't communicate, you can't have phone and nothing. Like you are completely out of contact. You are given very very simple food, and there is a proper meditative techniques that they follow, that they make you follow. And with those techniques, definitely it's very very important to understand your own self. It's a very nice thing. Very nice thing. I have joined Vipassana. Yes. So if you have joined Vipassana, you will know what kind of meditations these people do. Even there are centers, many places, but they don't take places people less than 25 years of age. Okay. ये मुझे नहीं पता था क्योंकि मेरी उम्र उतनी थी जब मैं गई. Okay. नीचे करो, नीचे करो. क्या कह रहे हैं बच्चे? Ma'am, what wrong and right will decide? Nobody will decide wrong and right according to Buddha. It's a very natural process, law of karma, like Jainism or believes. So similarly, Buddhism also believes that it is just like gravity. Who is causing gravity? Nothing is causing, no one is causing gravity. No, it's a natural law. It's a natural law. Similarly, cause of karma or the law of karma is very natural. If you do bad, it will translate into something bad in your life, a consequence or a result, punishment. And if you do good, then something good will happen. But good and bad, both are foundations. Because if you do something good, some good will happen. If you do bad, something bad will happen. So they talk about a situation whereby the balance is zero. I told you, they are talking about a situation where they are neither earning nor exhausting. Their balance is zero. And that zero can only be attained when you stop doing actions according to the desires or attachment. You do actions for the action's sake. You stop becoming worried, attached. And that is what is na duty for duty's sake, or karm kar phal ki ichha mat kar, yehi mukti ka rasta hai. All of these are again the same things. So he's talking about those things. ठीक है, पढ़ लेते हैं. If a person does wrong deed, then according to karma theory, he will get a negative reward, and the one doing good karma will receive commensurate positive effects. Can God punish the right doer and reward the wrong doer? If he does so, then he is not justiciable. तो वो justice नहीं कर रहे हैं. And if he cannot do it, then what is the use of believing in God? He gives an analogy that if I sow neem seeds, can God make it a mango tree? If not, supreme law is law of karma and there is no need of God, etc. Clear? Fine, the two arguments. Okay, next. Buddha was a practical thinker who accepted that suffering and pain are the facts of life which nobody can reject. An ultimate aim of life should be to remove this suffering. For this, he gave 4 noble truths. Number 1 is dukh. Read it and tell me if there is any problem. हमें कर चुके हैं. Note. Because he's talking about dukh, Western philosophers have misinterpreted Indian philosophy, specifically Buddhist philosophy, as pessimistic. उन्होंने कहा ये तो बड़े दुखी लोग हैं यार, है ना? Indian people are talking always about dukh, dukh, dukh. They are not concerned about knowing the world itself, the reality itself. Rather, they are only concerned about removing sufferings. And there is a very what do you say, strict criticisms these people have done. They say Indian people are so sensitive, and if even if you touch them, there is pain. If you say something, there is pain. It's like we have become so easy to offend, and that is why they criticize us. That their whole philosophical systems revolve around suffering. But is it a right criticism? It's not a right criticism, because definitely Buddhism is starting with suffering, but its ending is not. He's rather giving a way out, isn't it? He's telling us the proper path, how to overcome suffering rather, and reach a state where there will be no suffering. पढ़ लो. ठीक है? Fine. Let us read this second wala, dukh samudaya. There is a cause of suffering. It says everything has a cause. Nothing comes out of nothing. ये है ex nihilo nihil fit. इसे काट के लिखो. ये एग्जाम्पल नहीं है, ये एक स्टेटमेंट है. Ex nihilo nihil fit. Ex nihilo nihil fit. Nothing comes out of nothing. That everything has a cause. इसका क्या मतलब है? Everything has a cause. Latin का है and a very famous quote. ये बस टी-शर्ट्स वगैरह में लिखा रहता है. For every event there are causes. Therefore, everything in this world is conditional. Conditional over what? Cause. Cause होगा तभी आएगा. Condition है. Conditional. Relative. Relative to what? Cause. Relative. And limited. Everything is conditional, relative, and limited. Full stop. As suffering is a fact, therefore, it must also be based on some causes. This second noble truth also re-emphasized Buddhist faith in causal theory, which ultimately led to the theory of dependent origination or pratitya samutpad. तो सेकेंड नोबल ट्रुथ से कौन सी थ्योरी आई? डिपेंडेंट ओरिजिनेशन और प्रत्यय समुत्पाद. वी विल डू इट इसके बाद. देन थर्ड, देयर इज सिजेशन ऑफ सफरिंग और दुख निरोध. As everything arises depending on some causes or conditions, therefore, if those conditions are removed, the effect must also cease. That which is born must die. In other words, production implies destruction. Dukh Nirodh Gamini Pratipad. There is a way leading to this cessation of suffering. there is an ethical spiritual path following which we will remove the misery or pain and ultimate liberation can be attained. It is the eightfold path of liberation. Okay. Next concept is Pratipya Samutpad. Second noble truth क्या था? There is a cause of suffering. Now, when Buddha started tracing, वो लगाया है कि डायग्राम एक? Hold on. जो बुद्धिज्म हाँ so when Buddha was meditating, he started thinking about what is the cause of suffering. क्यों हो रही है suffering? तो उन्होंने जब बात सोचा, when he started thinking, he realized that our suffering is caused by many things. But if we go on the most important linkages, we reach to this 12 link or 12 chain wheel. इसमें 12 लिंक है और ये जो 12 स्टेजेस हैं ये उन्होंने डिकोड करी एज द कॉज ऑफ सफरिंग. उसने कहा हम इसी में फंसे हुए हैं. बट you have to understand these are the most important causes. Each thing may have different other causes also. और उनके जो वेब है वो बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड तरीके से है. लेकिन this is the द्वादश निदान. This is also known as द्वादश मतलब 12 निदान wheel. 12 step wheel. इसको हटाना. Everything has a cause. Everything has a cause. Idam sati, idam bhavati. Asmin sati, idam bhavati matlab this being that arises. This being. अगर ये है तो that arises. That arises मतलब effect. Sorry, this being means cause. sorry online people. तो अगर cause है तो effect आएगा. Rocket science तो नहीं है. Causal theory. This being that arises. Simple formula. Now understand this. So Buddha said, definitely there is suffering. Suffering like aging and death. है? People age, people die, people suffer. There is suffering. This is the fact. First noble truth. Now, why is there a suffering? क्यों हुई suffering? क्योंकि पैदा हुए. There was birth. पैदा ही नहीं होते तो suffering ही नहीं होती. पैदा हुए तो suffering होनी थी. But पैदा क्यों हुए? He said that we got birth because there was this craving of existence. We wanted to exist. जब इंसान मर रहा होता है, anyone, have you seen somebody who dying of old age or any age rather? Do people want to die? Do they want to die? Nobody wants to die. Everyone wants to exist forever. Amarta. We all want to exist. And this concept of immortality has killed more people. But actually, this is one of the very important fascinations our history has ever had. Whether it is Egyptian civilization, pharaohs, or kings, or rishis, or anyone you talk about. Voldemort, बताओ. Everybody is after immortality. And he says we wanted to exist when we were dying. We wanted to exist. This craving for existence is there. That is why there was birth. लेकिन ये craving आई क्यों? एक क्रेविंग क्यों आई हम में कि हमें एग्जिस्ट करना चाहिए? बिकॉज वी वर हैविंग पोजेशंस, ये फोन, ये वो, हमें पोजेशंस, अटैचमेंट, वी बिकम पोजेसिव अबाउट थिंग्स. We have this attachment towards people, towards things, towards our own life, towards our own ego, towards our own identity. Like, how many of you feel you are the best person? चलो best तो छोड़ो. Okay, I'll tell you, like possession कैसे how you feel start having this ego. Supposedly, you get selected, or there are again two options. I told you, either you will get selected or you will not get selected. ठीक है? Supposedly you get selected. You and your other friends go to a function, रामलीला function. ये बहुत ठंडा नहीं हो रहा हो? तो बंद क्यों नहीं कर देते इसको, एसी को? तबीयत खराब करोगे कि मेरी तो खराब ही है. इसको एसी को बंद ही कर दो थोड़ी देर के लिए. ये वाला भी, ये भी चल रहा है, वो भी बंद कर दो. हैं? सफोकेशन हो जाएगी. तब चला लेंगे. टेम्परेचर बढ़ा दो. बच्चे एकदम एकदम मोस में चले गए हो तुम लोग, मोड में. तो अच्छी बात है. Ma'am, what were we before the first birth according to Buddhism? I told you now, first cause, first birth, first this, never explained. Okay. So, why was there exist? अब मैं क्या बता रही थी, कुछ और बता रही थी ना? हाँ, ego. So हाँ, you got selected and you are called to Ramlila Maidan for function, and you and other friends are there. आपको आगे की सीट मिल गई, आपको आगे बिठाया गया. You inaugurated the Ramlila, and your other friends are sitting at the back, very back. After a lot of seats, you feel what? Pride, isn't it? That pride. मैंने देखा क्या करा. This is that attachment to your own self, own pride. And supposedly you were one of the friends who were sitting at the back, and another of your friend is doing all this. So what do you feel? Jealousy and anger, isn't it? And why is there? What went wrong? Pride, ego, something not satisfied. What was not satisfied? Ego. And all of this is because you have this very strong possession of yourself, or what do you say? You have this attachment to your own identity, your own self, your own parents, your own religion, your own this, your own that, own things, isn't it? There is this attachment. And why is there an attachment? ये attachment क्यों है? Because there are desires of having what? More of everything. Desire of having more of everything. Whether you are sitting in the first line or in the last line, there is always a desire. So if you are sitting at the back, you desire, I should have been the first one. I should be the one who's inaugurating. And when you are the first one sitting in the first row, you feel like, but why minister is being given more respect than me? Then you want to be, and minister wants to be the, and prime minister wants to be the. वो कहता है यार इंडिया का मिनिस्टर बनने में क्या, वहां पे देखा क्या होता है व्हाइट हाउस में? Everyone, right? So there are desires. And why are there desires? ये desires आई क्यों? और desires हर type की है ना? I want to have ice cream, sensual desires, I want to have more material possessions, iPad, iPhone 15, bigger house, bigger this, bigger that, all of these things. Fine. And why are there desires? Because there were once feelings and sensations. What are feelings and sensations? So when you were cutting this ribbon, you felt happy. When you ate that ice cream, you felt happiness or pleasure because of the taste. When you held your iPad, there was this pleasure of owning. There was some sense experience. The sense experience of pleasure was there. And why was these sense experiences there? Khana, pina, sona, घूमना, all of these things. Sense experience. लेकिन ये sense experience हुआ क्यों? What was the cause of the sense experience? Because there was sense object contact. Your sense had some contact with something. कुछ ना कुछ contact हुआ, चाहे खाने में हुआ, touch में हुआ, देखने में हुआ, किसी ना किसी में हुआ. There was this sense object contact. Contact क्यों हुआ sense और object का? What was the cause? Because we have 6 senses. What are the 6 senses? 5 external and 1 internal. और ये 6 senses क्यों आई? What is the cause of 6 senses? Because we have a name and a form. We have a name and form. Mind और body है हमारे पास. जो ये mind और body, इसके कारण ही तो 6 senses हैं. अगर mind और body नहीं होती तो 6 senses आते ही नहीं. Isn't it? Now, why is there a name and body? Because there was initial consciousness. Initial consciousness या फिर embryo. Initial embryo. कभी initial embryo consciousness आई? That is why अगर वो embryo ही नहीं आता मदर के पेट में, तो body और soul भी नहीं आते यार. ये name form भी नहीं आता. ये आपका जो form है आज, ये भी नहीं होता. वो initial embryo या initial consciousness क्यों आई? Because there were certain sanskars. Sanskars or mental formations. What are mental formations? According to Buddhism, whatever you do, that gets collected as a impression or sanskar. तो आप जो भी करते रहे पिछले जन्म का, ये पास्ट लाइफ में चले गए हम लोग अब. तो ये इनिशियल एम्ब्रियो कब आया? जो आपका एम्ब्रियो था वो क्यों आया? क्योंकि पिछली लाइफ के अंदर जो संस्कार आपने कलेक्ट किए थे, जो इंप्रेशंस आपने कलेक्ट किए थे, उसके रिजल्ट के कारण ये एम्ब्रियो आया. दिस कॉन्शियसनेस arose. And why was those sanskar created? Because of ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance about not knowing the reality. You don't know. You did not know this whole reality. That is why you were attached. That is why you were so engrossed. When you eat ice cream, you feel like, let's have one more. But will it be satisfying to any time? Will it be satisfying? Supposedly, if you have iPhone 6, then you want iPhone. अब कौन सा आया है? लो बताओ. 15. And even if you own iPhone 15, you feel like Pro Max. वो भी है क्या? लो. Pro Max. Is there any limit to it? No. And because of this ignorance, because we are not understanding the temporary nature of things, because we are not understanding the cause and effect chain, we are bound in this world. So we keep on, because we are ignorant, we keep on creating sanskars. And because the sanskars will be there will be an initial embryo. An initial embryo will develop into a name and form or a body, will have sixth sense, will have some contact, will have feelings, there will be desire, there will be possession or attachment, there will be trishna or craving for the existence, there will be birth, and of course there will be suffering. So these, according to Buddhism, these sanskars are karmic impressions, and because of these karmic impressions, a consciousness is born carrying those impressions. Like this Buddhism explains rebirth, accepts rebirth, fine. So we all are getting results based on our past karmas. Now Jainism has explained it on the basis of karma pudgal, but here they are not explaining it on the karma pudgal but karmic impressions. It is like collection of vibrations, and because of this, that vibrations, a new consciousness is born. It's again like, if a person has done a lot of good work, a lot of positive sanskars have been collected, what kind of womb that consciousness will find, or that sanskar will find? Good, luxurious parents, loving parents. And if a bad karma is there, then a different kind of scenario. But these impressions travel and cause the initial embryo or consciousness. नहीं, ह्यूमन का ह्यूमन बर्थ होगा ऐसा नहीं बोला है, बट उन्होंने इसके अलावा भी नहीं बोला, बताया ना, मेटाफिजिक्स नहीं है, कॉस्मोलॉजी भी नहीं है, सिक्स सेंस, मतलब सिक्स सेंस फाइव एक्सटर्नल एंड मना पर्याय, मन उन्होंने बताया नहीं है, उन्होंने बोला नहीं है, तो हम नहीं लिखेंगे, हम उसे ह्यूमन, एनिमल, बर्ड कुछ नहीं लिखेंगे, क्योंकि उन्होंने जीव है, मेटाफिजिक्स है ही नहीं ना. Why are you thinking in terms of metaphysics? He is just telling you the way. Don't let metaphysics, epistemology, all of these things enter, because he's not interested. He's just interested in decoding the cause of suffering. He's saying there is a cause of suffering. What is the cause? What is the cause? What is the cause? He made a 12 links and came to this conclusion. है ना? These are the 12 links, and there are Hindi names for them also. English we have seen, there are also Hindi names. First is suffering, jara marna. Jara matlab body suffering, everything. Maran, मरने की भी suffering को मानते हैं. जाति, जाति means birth. भाव, भाव जब मरते समय इंसान के मन में एक भाव होता है, मुझे मरना नहीं है, मुझे और जीना है. I want to exist, and this bhav is because there is upadan, yeah, attachment, yeah, clinging. We want to cling to life. We want to live more and more. And why is there this clinging? Because there is trishna, trishna or craving, more and more sensual pleasures. Even if you have gone to 50 destinations, still there are so many destinations left to visit. Even if you have had thousands of tasty dishes, still you crave for more. कि कुछ और खाने को मिल जाए, कुछ और नया. Even if you have hundreds of clothes, still if you find something on sale on Mantra or some other this area or mall, still it starts, still you feel like craving. And why is there craving? Because there is vedana. Vedana means feeling. Because last time when you bought something, you felt very good. Last time when you ate something, you felt very good. And now, why did you feel very good? Because there was contact, sparsh. And why was there sparsh? Because there were shadaitan. Shadaitan means 6 senses. Why were there 6 senses? Because there is namru. And why is there namru? Because there was initial consciousness known as Vigyan. And why was there Vigyan? Because there were sanskars. And why are there sanskars? Because there is avidya. This whole thing is actually a link between past, present, and future life. How past, present, and future life? ये क्या हुआ? ये तो पूरा ही हट गया. रहने दो. कोई बात नहीं. हाँ, what is the link between past, present, and future life? Can you make out? This two are future life. These two are past life, and this is the present life which is going on. पिछली लाइफ में इग्नोरेंट थे, इसलिए संस्कार कलेक्ट करे. इन संस्कार के कारण, because of these संस्कार, you had the initial consciousness of the embryo, and you had all of this, and at last you had what? फिर जन्म लेना है. I want to exist again. I want to exist forever. And because of this bhav that I want to exist again or I want to exist forever, there was this birth. And if there is birth, future life, birth होगा ना दोबारा से, और फिर age, death, सब होगा. These are the 12 links connecting the past, present, and future life. And this is all pratyatya samutpad. This whole chain is known as pratyatya samutpad or dwadas nidan. 12 causal links. This is also known as 12 causal links. Now, these 12 causal links, if you know these 12 links that form the suffering, will you get attached? This means if you know it, then the ignorance, you will work to remove ignorance. But if you don't know it, then suffering will continue. And continue till when? Chalti rahegi. You will create more sanskars, more life. Sanskars, life, sanskars, life. So all of this will keep going until and unless you realize that all of this is a linked chain. It's a vicious cycle. It is a vicious cycle whereby you are suffering not because abhi kuch ho gaya. You are suffering because you are craving it. You are suffering because you are running after pleasures, after pleasures, after pleasures. And is there a limit to it? No. Therefore, the suffering will continue. And if you have to stop suffering, you have to break the cycle. अभी 12 साइकिल तो क्लोज्ड है, कैसे ब्रेक करोगे? बाकी चीजों को तो कंट्रोल कर नहीं सकते. क्या चीज कंट्रोल कर सकते हो? सिर्फ एक चीज. If you remove ignorance, you will get liberation. And if you do not remove ignorance, you will continue in the cycle of birth and death. So, if you don't know pratyatya samutpad, it is bondage. If you know pratyatya samutpad, it is liberation. Don't know? No. Two faces of the same coin. ये तो साइकिल है ना, पास्ट, फ्यूचर और प्रेजेंट की. कैसे तोड़ोगे? कैसे हटाओगे? According to Buddha, all the, of course, desire हटेगी, यही है. पर इसको हटाने के लिए क्या जरूरत है? past life नहीं है. It's a continuous cycle. If you remove ignorance, only then you will not be having sanskar, and only if you will not have sanskar, you will not have consciousness. Only if you have not do not have consciousness, all of this will not be there, and only then you will not have suffering. ये सब तो effect है ना. Cause क्या है? Ignorance. If you remove ignorance, then liberated. हाँ, लिबरेशन हिनयान महायान का दोनों का अलग है, इसीलिए हम उसे बाद में पढ़ेंगे. नाउ आई विल नॉट टेल यू एग्जैक्टली, लेकिन मैं बता तो दूंगी, लेकिन आपका वो फॉर्म हो जाएगा, या फिर बस सुन लो, ऐसा भी कोई बात नहीं है, कोई बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है. हिनयानिस्ट वाला कॉन्सेप्ट ही है बुद्धा का, ज्यादा क्लोज. सो बुद्धा सेज, if to understand it simply, have you seen a flame? Have you seen a flame? ये ऐसे दिया होता है, नहीं ऐसा नहीं होता. This is a flame, है ना? If I blow it out, तो कहाँ गई फ्लेम? कहाँ गई? हेवन में? हेल? कहाँ गई? गई ना? Buddha also says when we get liberated, we get liberated. We don't go hither nor thither, ना ऊपर ना नीचे, ना दाएं ना बाएं, ना heaven ना hell. We blows out. Existence, liberation means blowing out. जैसे flame खत्म, वैसे ही हम खत्म. क्या? यही अटैचमेंट है, यही अटैचमेंट है जिसके बारे में बुद्धा बात कर रहे हैं. Why are we fearful? Because we are attached. Clear? एक दिन, ma'am, isn't too much loving parents luxury also an obstacle to liberation in case of Siddharth? Of course. Of course. All of this is attachment. What will happen if we are not ignorant? We will be liberated. नहीं. It is like if you understand that everything is linked, you will weigh a different way. You will lead. क्या चल रही? आपस में क्यों बातें कर रहे हो? हाँ. Yes, that's Hinayanist understanding of liberation. Mahayana will give a different understanding, because isn't it very unsatisfactory that we are blown out like flame? No? ऐसे मजा नहीं आ रहा. हाँ, तो कुछ अब हम लोग अटैच लोग, जैसे इन्होंने कहा ना, he said, मैम पर फिर ऐसे ये तो बहुत सफरिंग है, क्या we will be extinct, we will be gone, ऐसे ही बाकी लोग सोचते हैं नॉर्मल. तो अब वो लोग क्या कहेंगे? अब now I'll tell you, there are two ways of understanding. एक है the moment you are dead, you are gone, always, forever, khatam, no identity, nothing. And second understanding is, even if you die, the soul will continue either in a new body, or it will go to heaven, and there it will exist. You will get this, that, you will get what? Grand palaces, food, this, that, etc. Which is more satisfactory? Second wala, it's more emotionally satisfactory. It's more, it makes us more ease. We will be more at ease if we know that our soul will exist forever. It is just, you know, शरीर मर जाएगा लेकिन आत्मा continue करेगी. It's more easy, isn't it? More lucrative option. हाँ, उन्हीं के लिए बुद्धिज्म है. लेकिन अगर चलने का मन है तो the other option, Mahayana option is there. That is why Mahayana interpretation was brought in. That is why most of the people now, Hinyan Buddhism तो इतना सा रह गया, इतना सा, और Mahayana Buddhism हाथ बढ़ गया. All the types of Buddhism you hear now, Sri Lankan, Zen, Japanese, Chinese, etc., Cambodian, all of this Buddhism is Mahayana Buddhism. Very limited area, very limited people follow Hinyan Buddhism, which are the original teachings of Buddha. But the original teachings of Buddha, of course, they were very popular till the time Buddha and everything was going there. But we people are too much attached to ourselves. We even interpret the words according to our own desires and wishes. तो वो जो interpretation निकला वो क्या था? महायान. ठीक है? Okay. चलो, we will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? 5th ना? Tomorrow is 5th, है ना? We will continue tomorrow, but day after tomorrow we will not have a class, and we will have online classes from Monday. 4 classes, 4 or 5 classes we will have online because I am going to a long trip. Bhopal, हाँ, नहीं Bharat Brahman नहीं, MP Brahman. MP Brahman in the sense, I have a talk at NIT, Oriental College Bhopal, then IIT Indore, then some college of Jabalpur, then Raipur, and then VNIT Nagpur. है ना? So I'll be back on 15th. So we will have a class on 16th, offline class. There will be 4 or 5 classes which will be in online mode. ठीक है? And there will be a test. क्या नहीं होगा? हाँ, Friday नहीं होगा class. Friday नहीं होगा class. There will be a test. When do you want to have test? इनमें से किसी एक दिन रखेंगे. ठीक है? किसी एक Saturday को या फिर किसी एक दिन we will have test of Charvak Jainism Buddhism. है ना? Buddhism तब तक complete हो जाएगा तो Charvak Jainism and Buddhism एक proper test रख लेते हैं. ठीक है? Okay. Okay. Bye bye. I will be there at Nagpur